Alrighty. So, after like 4 to 5 years since the fucking progress report for France, that one that came out like a long ass time ago for France, we got one finally before the Escadron side of things and going on over in the here. It's a very interesting little bits and bob over in the here, so yeah. So yeah, we got quite a bit over here. So we'll be focusing on the Escadron for this stuff, but we also later on they have said that they're going to be showing off some of the other sects, like I think the Surrealists and the Neo Helicus. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they're going to be coming about over here soon. So yeah, we're going to be getting also interesting little bits and bob involved in that. So yeah. First things first, we are aware that it's been a very long time since we had one of these concerned fans proper. And we do mean a long time, dude. Besides 5 years have passed since the 27th Dev Diary, which announced the upcoming France Week work on May 29th of 2021. That's a lot. But I don't. Did I cover that? I think I might have, but that was so long ago that a bunch of shit changed over here from one little bits I've seen. Since then, a lot has changed. The deputy over the months and month of restructuring to involve membership and attitude of a model design, not to mention the numerous updates that came to really proceed beyond despite the initial conception and taking the bill on top of it. I go on the exact details of what exactly has changed since then, but knowing that it's far from what you company for. Tricky beauty because boss said put out earlier progress report. He started out horrendously long foot, not just in retrospect, but even the time it was made. He gave audience a massively skewed image of a frightful legacy in the evil agenda for 1936, and even worse for a large number of people who came in wholly a sincere conviction that this is how French culture would look like. Also, the icons were way below standard what a Norman Red photo as of 2025, but different entirely. So I thought I'd do here's the rework. Yes. That has received reworks of its own, yeah. Yo, dog, I heard you like rework. We're gonna make a rework of your rework so you can rework while you rework. Reworkage, anyways. So, the intro tree was some of the flavor and the character introducing events tied to it over here, so I remember reality for a while, so. This is a new starting tree over here. I think there's like a comparison image out there at some point, but I can't remember what it was. But we got all sorts of interesting stuff over in here. So as you can see over here, we're really focusing on this. So we got the ones that we can do over here that hasn't been done over here. And we can save in Africa to send samples to Algiers, or we're sending cold in your base. Fuck, it's hard to read that over here because I can't zoom in over here because the way I'm doing this. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah, so look at the wall, the radiant sound of the wall, yeah, all the interesting stuff. By Squadron 2 follow. So the Mystigogs. One of required controlled chaos, 2 French century, and full speed no breaks over here, which is the event going on over here. Meanwhile, some other things over here. If it's proper. All things go up and above, they flew high in the sky, 25 planes entirely around formation. One front, the rest followed behind. Never before had the citizens of the United States even seen such a flight. But not on their own soil, not ever. Were the Wright brothers? I'm pretty sure the Wright brothers still looked at this thing. But I probably didn't catch on as much over here. Probably got on in France from the look of things. Not above the very seasoned nation that hadn't tasted proper warfare on its own source since the invention of the Gatling gun. Those planes were not dropping bombs, and many equivalents of these chasers claimed. They were dropping pamphlets with dedications. Two jubilant ones, good friends of the sun, some protested this relationship, declining to do France as an old odd bedfellow. On the USS to steer clear towards. Others tended to the pilot with open arms, but he's simply the shocking affirmation champions of the working class and Christian defenders all show genuine sympathy of their bloody cause. Most were first bemused, then amused by the sight. The pilots flew far and wide into neighboring Italy onto the fabled city, the Apollo cost, that being Fiume, to Bushire in the land of the south. They spoke hookahs and pondicherries and were received praise by the land of the Copenhagen general home. Gong in Nanking over here. Grabbing another one. Around the Mr. Worldwide. I just remember. Mr. Worldwide. Charles Longy's here. Anyways. Then landed celebration by the Japanese. Then came the American trip, Alaska, Orlando, New York. How vast can one country be? How powerful? Chicago. Last landing before later leg came with a welcome briefing reality. Men clad in metal suits evoking the Odyssey student attention. Their sabers raised as the planets flew by. Ukrainian children and women dressing as Lady Liberty, waving the old glory side by side with the lightning cross. In a mood like this, one should almost forget the sheer desolation brought on by the Depression. Nungi sit in corridor parlor playing side by side and to embrace the mob darling in the city's mayor, Big Bill Thomas. The plump man was all smiles. Sorry to have held to hate the old blighty as much as he did. Nice place he got here, quote open with a safe platitude. Not like per se, you need change of pace from all the oriental shitholes and Thuggistan as they went through. Damn. Casual racism, anyways. Thank you, gentlemen. The pleasure's all mine. The mayor turned around to see if anyone was within earshot, then continued the quiet on. And it took all to keep it neat and clean while having a pal in the melon in the big house. Yeah, that's Andrew Mellon, by the way. No hungry or spotted bastard is going to touch the city as long as I'm around, I promise you. You have no idea how glad all France is to hear this, Mayor. Charles Lungy says, took up the heroic task of covering for his compatriots' broken English. You Americans and all your ships and steelworks, you are the real soldiers of the future. Future, you strive for it. For you living like putting on trousers. They laugh at his laugh as if to consider the obvious initial exasperations. When on the two men are led to City Hall, waving the craze. Alright now, gentlemen, the big question. Booze or smack? Both. Yeah, both are good. Booze and the smack. Smack and booze. That's Nungies here and friends. And then we got look at everyone else over in here. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. Just as you know. Yeah, there we go. Alright. In 1875, Woodmore Bridge constructed a hydra cameras and lenses on a ranch outside Palo Alto and captured the photography, the complete cycle of the horse's gallop, each mode of movement chronologically segmented into discrete phenomena, totally apprehensible by the eye, under control. 3 decades later, with Philippe Lemour, this is the left Escadron, if I remember correctly, standing here outside, had police Bourbon with his own boutique of cameras. He saw the photograph for the first time. He was minded of something organic and biological, yet also pale and inert. The photo engaged a horse named Accident, spinning in silver halide and gelatin, as called for him. I visited the Museum National d'Histoire Naturelle as a child. He brought again to his mind reptiles and fuses so in a formaldehyde slumber. The slumber of something dead. It's no fun to have control over something that is simply dead. Yeah. Then Lemieux encountered a necromancer. His name was Eisenstein. Eisenstein. I was for that. Anyway. At a small underground movie theater in Montmartre, where clandestine films were shown, Philippe sat and watched these dead moments of time energized, brought back into the world and charged with power. More soul than the other crude puppetry of films, chronological marionettes swinging about. Eisenstein had managed to bring the full force of intuition. As well as the core mass of a single moment in time cascading forward into the eyes of the viewer. To have finally been, rested entirely in the eye, placed wholly into the mind of the director. This is what the first experience of art must have been like. The holy incantation of hunters on the wall of the caves, the hands of magicians summoning myopic fire in the mind of the operator. The steps of the Palais National are littered with men in various primitive smoking cigarettes or chatting with each other. The shoot here has been approaching 4 hours. Damn. The storming of the National Assembly is stuck in Sisyphean loop. The nag will never overthrow Roper at this rate. What pressing matter is that there isn't anywhere in France that manufactures 35mm film. And the murderers use all of it. Still, the actors are told to assemble once more for a final charge. You must see it all. See it first. And then he'll be ready to film when he gets here. Be a place between their moods and divisions, sprockets, slice frame after frame. Picture with pupils as they watch them, something watching. Something omnipotent. Le player, anyways. The pause here real quick, cause I get some more water. I better be back with the waters. There's some more flavor we got here. The past. The old testament steer. Beasts of Sudan dance tenuously in the walls, dance with trot with mercilessness natural beast. They are the color of congealed blood and monstrous in their form and movement. Aurochs break their horns against each other and clash into the bloodthirst, galloping in the primeval steppe. And as George Bataille presses his hand through the moist cave walls, new monstrosities reveal themselves. Elks posed with antlers and their frantic shapes are overgrown mold and shoulders topping horses, and they copulate freely and powerfully beneath these horns. Leopards and Anicius and hyenas gore on each other. A pile of sex and blood and freedom weave itself, and man, missing. Man, the great hunter, is not worthy of this infinite repetition of slaying and orgasm. The animal world scares him, yet, and fear produces a pathetic reverence. Batal breathes in the air and freezes his lungs and smiles at the idea of sucking in the trapped gasp of early man. He licks his hand through the touch halls of the cave with Socratic delight, and moans, and shivers of warm air from the lungs rises in the dark ceiling. He licks his hand again, till it's only well his own spittle. He begins licking the cave walls themselves, the icy stalagmites and stalactites, and make out the fangs of this ancient maw, and as he grows more frantic, he throws his body to them, evolves himself, and now mows the looter, and the echo answers him back 1,000 times. Okay. I don't even know what his fetish is. Christ. Catching his breath, gladdening with a thin, wet layer of sweat, Batai stops himself in the last moment and keeps walking in his trance. Then comes man, or rather, the beginning of a man. A bearded face crowned by antlers, human eyes, and the body of a great elk. All in stalagmite and the womb of the lioness. The birth of man as we know him, or the birth of God, inhumane, or too human. Man of old only thought himself worthy of utility and divinity, once cloaked in the skins of beasts. Our Sejutina are becoming a monsters, caught as liberation through its acceptance of animality. Now, one too could be hunted, playing games of sacrifice and lie on the altar and have his heart torn into excruciatingly long rituals and be devoured with great dignity. Now, meaning was finally born thanks to man's fear, the darkness of the underworld, and the will to deface those cave walls like children on with crayons. Only thinking about it makes the saliva of mouth pour and drip, which I unzips his trousers, lowers his underpants, and looks only at the first man who grunts and whimpers. When he's done, he grabs an ink pot from the pocket and pours over the same hand, cruelly, haphazardly. Truly, he draws the late addition to the history of man. Just next to it starts a labyrinth in his belly, a dagger in one hand, a heart in the other, and nothing for a face. I guess you can tell, but that is fucking weird. Anyways. And again, creating like basically the SFL. Wouldn't be weird. Hey, look, a ghost. Ooh. The landscape of lights and shadows made the grotesque smile and crazed eyes grow more grotesque and more crazed. He watched with glee inside the empty theater as the harsh late lights made the pathetic bound playwright sweat and sing sight. And he danced with the other man, simply stood impassively and awaited orders from the boss. He struck the playwright with a cane once and then twice and made sure to aim at the robed and bound man howled, except since he was also gagged. The war has no need for you to speak again, the playwright has been told. The playwright's eyes filled with many tears and kneeled over the cold floor, and terrifying voodoo mask still smiled at him. The brother seemed to smile even more now that he was in pain. In a matter of seconds, the war had transformed into a torture chamber, or rather an anti-chamber of hell since the devil was grinning. Albert finally took off the mask, and he was still smiling underneath it. Smooth and handsome and well-groomed and well-dressed in a pinstripe suit, smiling of expensive aftershave. No, expensive aftershave. Even the cane he was using to torment the pathetic little man was fancy and a true place of art. Do you think Galatian who also cried and tried to throw up when they lashed him there? Brent gave his cane to the wretched little destiny to continue monologuing. A play about the passion. It's almost visible in this day and age after everything we knew from science. Why your silly puppet didn't even exist. He laughed and shrieked the other surrealist falsehood in the cacophony of hate. Brent pulled out a gun and started cleaning with a fine cotton handkerchief and engraved the initials. Phil's eyes closed and sobbed through his gag. Why, I thought you were superstitious, Stort. All wanted to be martyrs. So scared by a simple mask and gun. Well, I turned a shot at the state eye and shouted and winged glass shards of all them. Dear monsieur, it's a new world, and the new world suddenly doesn't need stupid bourgeois plays for bored housewives. Bring back the victimized chief like I shot when he spoke and waved the gun around without a care. I hope you understand. Sorry, I won't make you understand. He was so destined to grab the playwright out of short hoist him up and pushed the bound little book into stage 4. Step on the Bible, please. The adaptation of scared man stomped on it repeatedly and made Brent laugh. But it's so hard. Do you feel disgusting Christian Nancy or bored like Martian to leave you? Martian leave you. Gotta read this. Don't you want to abandon bourgeois life and stop this sad life of yours? Don't you want to wander Patty, roam the streets like a ghost, brag in the cemeteries, shoot your gun in the air? Don't you feel something inside you awaken? Can't you see the colors and new sense? It's like not one great dream. When I went to bed and put the mask back on, he yelled wild howls as they kept shooting wildly and breaking lamps and leaving big burning holes as the empty audience seats. And that's how we just clapped their hands together in the mouth and chair like savage and needing to dance in a circle around Doug's stand. They forgotten little playwright who wished to know for sure. It was no and a great nightmare. Sometimes I want to be a ghost too. You're all ghosts now. Ghostly ghosts. The will-o'-the-wisp. Oh, yeah, I've heard of will-o'-wisp. I mean, like little ghost things. Can't remember exactly, but I think those will work. Anyways, her breast glistened with sweat. They heave up and down, but no particular rhythm. The bearskin blanket covered both her and his sexes. They grabbed cigarettes from the bedside table and offered until a woman who giggled stupidly and blushed. See Sammy's cat, a living image of his master, jumped onto the bed. Pierre Drew petted him with both hands. He already forgotten the woman next to him. Concentrate all his effort on pleasing the cat, because of course. Archie behind his ears, kissing the tip of his nose, pulling his hair back and torn the face of the devilish smirk. Hugging him dearly. Once the creature was content, Skis gave a look around the hazel window. Pierre Drew rolled on the bed, still naked, and sat by the desk and looked outside. Well, the woman was saying something he couldn't make out and didn't care about. He now his concentration and his effort in the world beyond a steamy room. A food sir, smacking the kid across his face for stealing an apple. The little thing sobbing loudly. Tiresome upper class woman walking the disgusting little white dog as she turned her nose up to the vulgar scene. Carl slowly looking at the place for a park, seats full of distinctly elegantly dressed young men who probably worked in one of the few banks still open. Dust covered gypsy strumming a Spanish guitar. The old fat men reading newspapers, stuffing their face with pastries as they walked. Skeletal priests with thick glasses, nervously looking around, but not enough. As he miserably trips and eats a mouthful of asphalt and moves out of the gypsy. Yeah. All the opponents, save for a handful of university goes making their way to a beautiful light step and rosy cheeks and charming skits, inspired Drew's imagination. Thought of him in the skip between the three of us who was playing at the bench and a bomb tearing the whole street of bourgeois boredom to shreds. Damn. He imagined a great industrial grinder to feed every board to every mediocre writer and middle-class father and young bank teller and beyond. Every communist included those haggard, perverted professors who were pretty good as they blathered on about Marx and Babel and the other ugly people who simply stifled what little art was left in the world. Sam began to ache and lit a cigarette. Pierre Drew passed his left hand through his shining hair and the right hand through the cat's back. Suddenly started the body in the bed asking questions, expecting an answer. Both Pierre's feeling doubled their head at the same time. He took a long drag out of his cigarette and gestured to the door. Leave now, please. The woman seemed confused and surprised at him. I need to write. Leave. We're writing about killing all them motherfuckers. Thank you, Pierre Drew. Anyways. Fun fact, did you know they became a star in this thing on in life? Interesting. Anyway. Yeah, just something that I heard about. You still up about 2 hours after the party started, fashionably late. Just all and sudden. Everyone was just the right amount of drunk, the evening the right amount of black, the spirits the right amount of wild. You watched the mama dance for in long strides and early simply stared dazzled at her dress. Abstract shapes and unthinkable cuts draped her body. This cheek of modernism shamed. Even the futurist in the color of her vest. Then until one nice about her immediately. Startlingly standing up, he stumbled onto the king to greet and was esteemed guest this evening. The Madame Valaton, the Saint Paul, memorizing scissored and brave young arc in one. The Martin did not appear more like fat Dionysius and senile Athletius in one. Madam, your highness, your beautiness, blasphemia, shall you made it, by Jove. You have stuck of tobacco, opium, bread and wild wine, whiskey, Moscato, Helen, Kiva, champagne, Kevkez, vodka, absinthe. This man drinking every goddamn thing or some other shit. Fellow Tim scorched her nose, door kisses and embraces. My dear Gabrielle, how could I ever miss one of your little gatherings? How you been, darling? Is there erratic still treating you well? He's right hard to disguise her disgust with the shaking hands. His bald head, the liver spots, the bloodshot eyes, the hunchback, the weak leg, and the stains of each figure under raw teeth. Seeing two pleasantries now chatted to me last time the blood slowly bubble and boil. Seeing how Marinette here once complained about player phones. And now they're all dancing to the tune of this feed star and dinosaur. But thrown. Lost no disappointment took him more time than notice humor. His small frame, the kind of poised, spot uniform. He gently led her away from Gabrielle, now buried with someone else and feeling to dance something like Scaletti. Pardon me, madam, he spoke at times, surprisingly Tuscan. We have pardoned the commandant. He has been unwise, unkind to us all. Unwise. But no, he holds you and France dear. I can only agree. Even his mustache was trimmed according to military regulations. He stared at Valentine from despite a high difference. I was there working on my efforts in France. Understood, Signor Hime, and I am pleased to hear. France, you too, have friend. Unity of Orient and Occident is inevitable. Might say eternal, permit your spirit of great civilization. I among those myself, I am shattered by your acquaintance unless. Thank you, acquaintance last. Prophet woman, dancer, and poetess. I had a gloved hand to the gallant Japanese man, warrior and intellectual. From the trigger with timid smile, west and east, they thought in unison. Friends in solar places. The most solar places. Wild meets the counter blows. There was an appetite in the blood. This was suddenly evident in the young Alice militant. At 4 or 5, now 7, that's when Capote's friends out from the front door of the cafe. Part by showing up, launching a black uniform with curly patterned armbands, la partie. These on fair tea, militia had been a grave error. Had a group certainly not a poilu of the Great War. But no mere teenager advanced at them, but both clanking against the cobblestones. Move along, traitor. Howled the squadron chief. The temperature of the terrace seemed to drop a few degrees. That is not an agreement, of course, and the military was no stranger to such accusations. The usual carry-on words of PSF members ran through his head, and the party was not the civil that had lost the Great War. That Contretti was near the street toppling the old republic, and that he did the boast and appealed towards much as Andre Button did. What he did instead was far less articulate. Maybe an expression of a true human conscience. In fact, the Asgard remember reaching for weapons in response to his own sorry the squad mates. Came in the corner, individualized armbands and highlight banded armbands flashing. Hey, is that a problem, boys? Someone interjects, wanting to get to see good nods. Tapping his truncheon against the establishment walls. From the look on his face, dealing with his surmise that this was far from the first problem the two sides had. His gun growled, voice low like the engine awaited the foot of the gas. The militant saw his eyes flash rapidly from him and the other piece of men. Anticipating swings from all angles, and this isn't a place for the Reds, Rope. He intoned, more sense from his crowd, seemingly uncannily like hounds. And when a partner gives the order, there won't be any place for you to run either. Ran and protest the first sounds from the men in the country with the drawings of weapons. Not that the cowboys weren't doing the same, the militant heard someone, maybe himself, flicking over the razor, promising not to treat you like Dunchin Lou. And when so many shots were going for his butt, yet there was still a low and momentary concern about what he never wore. To saw about how the Escadron chief spoke about too loud. What do you expect from a bunch of Jews? No 2 minutes around the departure, left the sound of his tools striking home. Some sort of impact of puncture stirred the militant in the chaos. Good of a smile, he had certain appetite to satisfy after all. Glory to the combatants. And move quick. Fuck my leg. Yeah. Like until street fights be a thing. We're fighting on the street, as it were. And now the ends of history. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a while with all this reading. All in the Martin had supposed that the events in the afternoon were far from sign of future civic endeavors. This long and shanty and soapbox preaching on the electric ground has thus far dragged on to his clear history class one thing on every day. The proposal was not the more hardly fatal to the curriculum. At least he had assumed as much until the math teacher, Mr. Dunard, came back into the teacher's lounge after a short talk with the student mob's elected representatives about the elected representative of the Union of Scholar Combatants of the French nation. A little presumptuous, he thought, for one school attendees. Take a look, Mr. Duval, with characteristic shrug. Putting a piece of paper before his colleagues. The course said paper was apparently a manifest on this demands. Tucson, naturally, his eyes flicked through the preamble when academics practiced eyes for scheming. We, the youth and flowers of France, here I declare, in opposition to the passive documents of our elders, for the reinvigoration of the national system in preparation for the populist struggle which the nature and health of the world familiar thus far, but the demands of the program should be importantly about the area of expertise. Number 2, the abolition of historical study of old France, of Jean d'Arc, and the remaining sentimental It seemed which no longer had any relation to French civilization beyond base symbolism. The chanting of the yard seemed to grow louder as he read on. Members of the crowded institution who have shackled our hands and my with our craft must be broken and restrained. According to the new powers of Mr. Duarte spoke first. Stabbed with the man of what he figured was a man sense of indignation. Pause your work, be out of work. It's like history. It's all history do. Affairs of the affairs and the lick we can't kid. Mr. Martin began proceed. I think that I can handle the youth brigadiers protecting schoolwork. First head off of school, moving the direction in order to call, which I see to be coming from everywhere. Mr. White about to say something as Copper opened the classroom door. Perhaps something was coming to repair the whip shot. When at least 3 pairs of arms launched through the gap, grabbing Mr. Martin by the jacket. Fraser stood it up. Yes, here he was. The one they were looking for. The furious warriors poured towards the crowd now filling the hallway. He looked upon the face of one around him, seeking something more fury or glee. Some places, perhaps he did, seriously. Grim determination, and he disappeared into a war of humanity, and they were upon him. Damn. It was really hate fucking schoolwork. Damn. Then that what happened to the holy shit. Anyways, the squad really left future all this shit. But 20, like almost 30 minutes over here reading all that. Massive. With that out of the way, we can want the actual sum of the PowerPoint. Did those and some the designer. Yeah. We introducing you. Those are my fractions. The Escadron of the future, or the Squadron of the future, or something else goes on in the layman's language, or something of an organizational. As far as politics like this is concerned, first conceived by Guillaume Apollinaire. New project over here, looks older. In shows Nungi Sir, which is a bit more scarred up, kind of. In 1933, the Raider Brigade, a very disunited, organized pair of the militaries that constitute French 5 over here. So yeah, we got the whole organization stuff over here. I'm not gonna read all this, you guys can look at it. But it's basically just a little look as to how the big 3 years of war came to be, especially the Escadron. Into war period. We'll come up to war and France and les fascists joined the law. Following the Central Revolution that put the thing to power had grown into one of the political parties which formed front to the primary backbone of the Army Federation system. The array groups, friends, military friends, so yeah. Recruitment over here and expanding various sects. Interesting little look over here, yeah. Pretty ways we found attracting new recruits, and then we attract a financial reward for the course. Team replaced the recently the new French armed forces. Both for American President and set up the Escadron service something like Ascot, the idea of the avant state. The previous on my health for community gives all the color to his day of guy mentality for France, fast cars, taking their jackets, and monobone, spontaneous bars of ideological driven violence. Past partial into the poor path layer of 0.1 France, no other faction kept the ethos of the attacking the balls, moving as a multi-band of misfits, and among them no captures as well as Guillaume Apollinaire. Parts of the archetypical poet soldier the rest of the New Age, a poet, French art critic, poet, and writer. He was like a one who come to tone school Sufism, not the much deeply involved in early Cubism, and one time dabbler in anarchism. I nearly survived the Great War, because in a lot of time he died of the Spanish flu, I think. He's a founder of the Sioux veterans, military inspired by example of DT. The war was a war in the right wing alliance, making out the post-war Bernard's government, so long as a few years due to political differences. In the mass, the Sioux came together as a revolutionary violence grouping that would have become the Pro-Fanag. The importance of Paul is a unifying figure, nationalist war hero mix of the figure and the movement as important, if not more, than Antoinette himself. Coming up to the veteran ring rather than the Saudi Empire and government, naturally he is the empowerment and regime shortly after it takes power. In the time of death, of course, came in no surprise that anyone that found would be in progress. We just very long ago, felled by boy anti-French fanatic. Message is right for 2 things: revenge and power. Like you see over here. The world is yours, guards and marshals to the right. But no, the unrightable wrong. 20 unrightable wrong. France, for the impossible. Romeo and Juliet, diplomacy, and there's our treaty. Peel, Ein Musain. Let's the communities of the world unite over here. I think that's proletarians and something else. I forgot to think what the other word was. It was a combination of 2 words. Mass moves mass, sympathy for the devil, loyal to one, servants of none. The guy makes you a slave to Rome, of course. Ride the lightning. Mort for mort. That's off. They see over here. You got a characters also shift over here. There's a pretty neat shift. And March, the Call of Duty, Blazing Hell, yeah, it's all sorts of interesting stuff. Then I've got the center Escadron over here, so the center is over here. Pain, what is pain? I only know joy. That's what it says. So that's going to study my best no more. Lucky much theoretical values are based off it. Come on, so represent the study of a practical hope for the organization as a whole. Either based either on borrowed allegiance for the far right paramilitaries that allow themselves to be merged into a central body, and personal loyalty to Apollinaire. Personal loyalty comes personal beliefs and course, and in a roundabout way, the set that his run is Apollinaire. Coming on with this mind initially implied, none of it reflects ideological pragmatism. Rather, there's a level of value dissonance in the fact that as much as Apollinaire nuggets they might boast of themselves as men of actionable idols, they cannot give a share of theoretical grounding, as likely as it might be. The Pope Paul Guillaume lays dead and buried, and because we spoke of him fair enough amount. But focus on his Prince Regent. It also defines a friend called Cheer. Yep. The last battle. Edward Plantagenet. Butchering that. The Black Prince stood atop the hill of Cressy, clad in suit of armor blazing the colours of the characters and men of France and England, like have come to know them. Lead with boundless anticipation of fine decorations of his armor, much alike those with power of his meanings. Turned to say unlikely to be overlooked, and with the mustache stayed after the Mongols whom he had often admired due to their shared dream of world domination under a single banner of equity. His pitch bald head reflecting the sun, he so loved to hate. Hard to miss was he, the vile. And that fellow yet harder to miss with his voice crossbreed from heartbeat shrieks and hawks of dying swine. Soon those dastardly Frenchmen shall be crushed. We will claim divinity upon this hill, as our God had rain upon this land, rich in plunder. Over the line, men! All plans he did hatch, the vile, playing the scion, led his minions upon the hill of Christine, divided for the armies of a true king. Fools to expect that fair engagement to make a steep way upwards he picked apart by his Welsh slave bowman. Victory was certain, the French sovereignty out and done with. Powers will be crushed under the church, and England back at their actual seat of world domination. Little of our coward know the sons of France had brought some firepower down. Fire! The young count on armored foil of silver and gold to milk the sun, raised his sword high up in the sky, and ray of solar mother, bowing the kiss on his tip. His countrymen instructed has been dashing traveler from the future, rolled out army till we got and greeted the would-be looters above the fire. Boom. Tanks rolled high of the Kremlin fortifications of the hill, Chrissy, like thousands of trees and reeds and the like into paste. Knights of crowned arm would have always picked up the rest of the bruised sods. A plane finds in distance the opening of the hatch set as a novel confirmation of he defines what French music note, French civilization itself truly means. The closing shot of the bomb that follows after the explosion captured in authentic detail. Simply wonderful, remarkable. You want that jump on that? Then it's you. Slap. Now, he did not know for certain if the praise directed at him was genuine or filled with sycophantic platitudes or a mixture of both at once. And honestly, he could not give less of a fuck. Give less of a fuck, or less of a shit. I didn't like, it was so easy that any wordless moron could do it, and you can never get to see full suits of knighted gear or hot babes in a real conflict. So there was no real downside to directly staring at these himself. Besides, these historical fiction are all the talk of the young blood nowadays. Yes, he was. His idea was fate. Nungus here raises his hands for one more cigarette in mine. They're going to shoot Waterloo on us. Let me say today. I love TV. I love the TV. Yeah, so I basically just fucking. They're playing a playing a fucking show. That's right, that show reminds me of I kind of get in that one anime called Gate. Kind of remind me of that. Don't know why. I haven't seen that fucking thing in years. Anyways, the starting nuggies was kind of covered with Chris back to his basketball called looking badass. We're gonna see the Proletarian Manifesto. An appeal. Guns and balls all lying around, something to do. Well, patience. For 5 years, the true men of French fought in the trenches and drove our enemies to submission. Only to return home to be given a pat on the back by a public orchestrated pen pushes sodomites. 15 years. 15 years sitting around doing nothing. Men who have fought the stakes to see of cracking bones and led the flame to the tip of bayonet. Real Frenchmen who only knew blood could be satiated at hunger sent to factories and till by necessity. Essentially geriatric little insects people who could pass out for a proper cut. And then my rise of no true glorified trained vestats, playing dress up in robes and throwing little teeth polish for use as aristocracy. All the while we grit our teeth again there. We got teeth to green over the little cooks, and then we till the fuel and make blood sweat in their factories. All the while venturing to the night to lead these little notes to the powers that be in the form of crushed skulls and broken legs. And then we till the fuels and mix blood, so yeah. Let's see. Trying to come with deliverance of the born, but that day of deliverance seemed never come. Oh, public, have we done nothing? Enough. Enough. We have made swords out of our plowshares and journeying forth to clear away the with your little scarecrow and public the National Assembly. What's it now? You friends with us won by the men of the Escadron, rocking asunder, torn but shredded by a fit neurophiles like Britain and practicing 19 feral sodomites like Augur. Holy shit. We've exploded. This is what we're going to do. Blow everything up again and ignite friends until it burns like our wondrous star it once was. Gun the boots around, there's nothing to do. Light up. And you guys are fucking angry. They do not like certain people. Well, yeah, this is a far right second really. Pinned by a duel during the beast stay in French like Tory left, and whose premises has been found by the social party commandants of war. Bring out the explosion of the SFIO and the ground that have advocating for uncompromising reform to unacceptable for the right party. Social legitimacy with one group of French and managed to wear the compromise shit-stained decadence its country has suffered for the past 2 decades. One group can truly clean on our corners of French. We're talking, of course, about the soldier. He brought glory to his nation while it was caved, cowered under the cover of howled in terror when the thought of doing something nothing to his face. Well, it's their nation anymore. It belongs to us, for we fought it. We died for it. It's only fair we get to keep it. We got millions. It's the truth. We are factored still. Only a small portion of righteous true sons belong to the Escadron. The rest are left to languish from this cowardly and grotesque. People who don't even have the fucking courage to look people who find killed, but they can go home and read them either necrocinematic novels and watch the pederast play. That's a fuck. That's what the fuck. Damn, I'm learning shit today. Holy shit. Disgusting. So much of French is disgusting shell and muck. If one of our own golden boys stained with the blood and would have done some, there would have been nothing worth saving here. The Escadron was here to make France a nation worth saving, and all who sacrifice it for clenched fists against those who have sinned against France, domestic and foreign. We shall be smashed as we approve our solidarity. We offer the soldier and veteran the treasure of this buzzing bourgeois republic that once caused of France. The old treasury will be plundered and spoiled given to the nation's real heroes. Any soldier putting out the old regime will teach freedom once more. Only the soldier can save France. Yeah, for the young powerful run though, he was long since radicalized from premises by vulgar populism. Revanchise legitime remains a two-gun principle in Logacier and has been of his mentor before through the means of knowledge that diverge from the definition given under the direction of mainstream politics around third and doomed in the credo force republics. Revanchism, diversion from the supers that shattered the confines of the hexagon, became a bond and a creed that in a dream now, like the theories outlined by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, for instance, of political and essential with the natural. You challenge. My friend, do not tell with such high dice to children or the ardent some desperate glory. Told lie, dulce et decorum est pro patria mori. Those lines are pussified to were written by the Anglo poet and probable closet homosexual William Owens, who was mercilessly put out of his whiny misery by a German shell a few months later. If only it was a French one with another man, regards in addition to showcase the natural cowardice of English Owens' poem, perfectly showcased the cancer eating away the world. Those who suffer from it call this disease pacifism out of a thick sort of denial or self-pity. We call what it is weakness. There's a room for weakness in this France of the Escadron. If you're not willing to kill for this country, then you do not belong in this country. Okay, Reznov. If you're not willing to die for this country, you do not belong in this country. Okay, Reznov. It is sweet and honorable to die for one's country. That is objective. It is a fact. To say anything else is empty-French mockery of the truth. Pacifism. How anyone manages to squeak out a word without drowning a flow of vomit is a mystery. But the infection is burrowed deep into France and we must deal with it somehow. The gangrenous tissue must be removed. The best way to do this is to simply kill those who claim to be pacifists. It's not as if they fight back or anything, but maybe some generosity deserved. We'll instead institute a sheep up or ship out program. Learn to fight or go hungry. Mentor physical exam, combat drills, the works. Shouldn't have to draw a sense of doing to the head of the most stubborn or craven. Did I say that? Opponents believe that the populace nurtured from infancy of the art of war will go to find nourishment and purpose in the wounds they receive come to reshape the biological state of beings as they did to the Cro-Magnons before. And skin will go more shrapnel has fallen and absorbed it, allowing the human race to evolve. Something random. No longer triggered from evolution by modernity's grooming to docility, of course. Like in the spot of all, the evolution of people cannot come without the evolution of the city with it. A forceful removal of much of a lot of anti-first settlement is in order. Yeah. France Escadron. Yeah. No more war. The howls of the anti-French are loud as they are wishes of the noxious. Anything but war. Please see me from the front lines, yet they omit very important information about how they believe the state ought to be run. What's truly meant behind the self-centered, weepy faggot sentimentality is not the end of warfare as we know it. Quite contrary, they love war. France will be heroically defended by all her sons whose sacred duty is not to be broken in the face of the enemy. For not so, what a quaint sentiment. The sons go to die valiantly. But the Fafis nephews and the Rothschild uncles are the ones who benefit from this asymmetric warfare promoted by the British backers. Are the ones who will pull the trigger, not the Germans, not the Jews, not even the Gambins or the colonies. Our own countrymen. Subversion of the highest order covered head to toe in the Polynesian blood, in the blood of our martyrs. No more war for sure. Bleh. They have bombs are the pretext of stopping war. Kill their own so that their precious lives, the enemies and slaves are spared in turn. So be it. Every man the Escadron that 100 Lunaires die. We want our thoughts, their children, maybe like grandparents with only entrails. Give the martyrs so desperately craved. Sacrificial lambs and pacifism have been presented themselves to be so wounding and submissive they crush their skulls under the wheels of automobiles. Have your way with their daughters. Let this rebellion go out with a whimper. Death for death. Mord for mord. Yeah, I really do not like pacifists. As it is whole we are in the government towards where its purpose lies. On our total brand of revolution is forgotten its fuel and lifeblood, and the men that have withstood the treasures of some all the horrors who have given their all to the doom of the done. Only be so then betrayed by optimistic commitment for them to state. There is a victory and the economy shall rest well in their hands. Our system works in a way that having a pig lick the crap off your ass off the shitting works. That's how life. That's creative. For years, France has been the home of a positive government and nothing to the benefit of no one. But this pissing nation that march out more involving in the lip-dick sad excuse of a government in favor of one that at least won't try to do anything, because that's the only way it knows how to avoid harm to everyone involved in the rude process of parliamentary misery. And the French people had obstinately played the role of the handpin. Good for nothing hobby. Watching us is dialing the government funds a project that go nowhere way too long. We're done with inefficiency. We're done with the union being no in favor of some weak delusion of a free market. We're done with the farmer being driven out of their homes because of soul-sucking bureaucrat who want the weak economy turning into a cheap prostitute for foreign interests. We're done with entrepreneurs who refuse to do their part for the nation that feeds and shelters them. We like a state that works. Not like government. We can't have a head or a body coexist separately while the heart between the two between them. We will want the industrialists to work for us, not wait and beg for them to return their product to the France when they feel like it. We'll get the workers to grind and argue in the same measure. We've got all the useless red tape crap that has made the French industry and never catch on the balloon. We will necessarily serve the interests of the people who are workers, soldiers, and producers. But they are steel and fire that forges the sword between the peers that spot his hyena. They are the artisans of victory. Yeah, we care about our workers, anyways. The economic revolution declared by the Mexican regime takes me that forms no longer intended to revitalize the economy and 1932 government had. Political eventual ideological transformation. Paper coins will be abolished and various credits closely monitored by a central bureau. So yeah, called social credit system, but very different. The Frank is a worse tongue as scrap, no good for buying anything but garbage off the streets. 2 decades since we left the monetary union to this day, our spending power hasn't increased. The situation is so fucking bad that the entire underground market is for people to use pound sterling. Bullshit. Money no longer holds any value in this country, and the middleman between labor and reward is completely worthless. Men should get exactly what they deserve. Let the unions hash out vouchers for those in merit. Meager boys who contribute shit do not deserve the same reward no matter work to get the work done. It's not just about labor. We just embodies a feeling onto itself. People in my front system are strange, especially the weaker strains. Bigger time, people adjust. They usually do. Whether should I be subjected to adaptation of work, I would trade jointly by both the government and the people they serve. Democracy is the will of the people. Like the Spartakists or Jews or industrialists, the range of appeals are different, diverse. In the broader sense of diversity, where you mean obliteration, like a round aging mule, continue the host of every stuck little shit in his back. Every son of horror scum on the earth driving out of the world in big scraps. Those lipstick pen pushers just for exposing every well-made citizen in the world to a bottom being drool like a Bretonian degenerate, flashing jewels onto the street and passing off into the porn of something that might be considered yet harmless, mentally deficient, solar ability that marks his hack. In some manner, they had displaced civilization with that faded, stale, and absurd idea of culture. An attachment of festering culture stands for nothing, believes in nothing, the food, sex, and weapons on an asshole. They use something of idea, democratia, by which the Athenians who city was a land civilization before Rome, before they solid no government by extraordinary among the people for the people. What do we need bureaucrats for? They're not able to do their jobs competently. For what reason do we need still the official, professional politician and ministers that portfolio of their act with no regard for the hand of French people hanging over them at all times? The longest are those cockroaches of dignity acting in their own volitions in worship of money. What they need is to learn accountability consequences. The people under the jurisdiction of every elected representative shall be able to participate in evaluation of the efforts, and if fail, let their voices try to find the means first to face. What the strength of the next be wrong grew up. The bill shall be thrust to the hard path risen by strong showing unity French people in the face of absurdity, regardless of when it comes. Legitimism, in turn, split from the idea of restoration of both one of the throne of France under Nungi said, comes to represent the throne itself. Members of power regimes can murder themselves in the spirit of French as one whole. Celebrate whole. The empire, the cornerstone of civilization into culture. Not to be republics or restorations or of aristocrats or pros. Past ends, burns, and forward downwards toward the will to come. I see the future in it of righteous murder. We salute you, Charles Donkeys. For years we were told that the ideal statesman was some sort of dickless wimp, be it a liberal shit for brains, intellectual, or a suborn faculty of losing wars, forex erudite. For years we clamored for a warrior like the emperors of old, someone to beat those cockles and whores in the fine purple pult. We waited for one destiny ordained man, someone well endowed enough to finally rise against this facade and grab Marianne by her pigtails. When tragedy struck with our solar brilliance, Guillaume opponent was tragically murdered. He murdered Charles as our icon, a sanguine messiah. Finally, France has summoned the lean vital, the confidence to lay waste the whole house of a nation that lies just beyond these. Come, brothers, our promised land of mud, blood, and glory await us. And with that over here, I'm gonna end this part over here because I need to rest my throat over here. And I also need to real quick. Anyways, until next time, we'll do the left and the right over here. So there's makes sense over here. So we did a starting point over here, and we did the center over here. I saw the middle point over here, so we can only. So with how radical and how interesting the center is with their ideas, only imagine what the left and right got in store. So yeah, till then, I shall see you guys later in the part 2, which should be the last part over here because there's only left and right left. Till then, see ya.